good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Qatar Open Innovation Program webinar. This webinar is in a partnership between QRDI and AG+. I'm very happy to be your host today for this session. My name is Abdul Haq Bal'idi. I'm a program manager at QRDI in charge of Qatar Open Innovation Program. My distinguished guests and speaker today are from AG+, Alba Mora, AG+ executive producer, Momin Bernani, creative manager, AG+, David Hostata, digital CTO, and Kemal Serif, senior product manager. Regarding the agenda of today's meeting or webinar, I will be giving an introduction about QRDI and Qatar Open Innovation Program. Then we will hear from AG+ team from Alba Mora about the need of AG+ for a technology for video content translation with AI. Afterwards, I will show you how to submit a proposal, the steps to submit a proposal. Then we will come to the Q&A session, and we end this webinar. During this presentation, you can please feel free to submit your questions using the Q&A function on Zoom. Let me first talk a little bit about Qatar QRDI, Qatar Research Development and Innovation Council. It was established in 2018 to drive research, development, and innovation efforts on national level in line with the Qatar National Vision 2030. QRDI Council has developed a 10-year strategy for QRDI 2030, which seeks to create locally empowered, globally connected RDI ecosystem, mobilizing leadership across government, academia, and industry to transform Qatar's social economic future. Among the funding programs within QRDI portfolio is the Qatar Open Innovation Program. Qatar Open Innovation Program aims at connecting opportunity owners who are, in this case, Qatar large local enterprises and government agencies with local and global innovators. So we work with the large local enterprises and government agencies to identify the areas where they want to pilot technology-based innovation in order for them to enhance their performance or competitiveness. After identifying this innovation opportunity, we structure it in a form of call for proposal, and we amplify it, publish it on different platforms, and aiming to reach innovators from all over the world. So we partner with you innovators to test a pilot in Qatar. So through this program, we will facilitate the engagement of innovators with the local large enterprises and government agencies, and we will fund the initial pilot to be developed in Qatar. What are the offerings of the program? So we offer access to funding for a pilot development in Qatar. Then we also offer a potential commercialization agreement between the large local agencies and large local enterprise and government agencies and the innovator. We facilitate the company registration process if the company would like to do so. Then the company will have access to local incubators and accelerators to our network. And last and not least, the company, the innovators will gain access to the Qatari and GCC market through collaborating with our opportunity owners. So here are examples of the opportunity owners that we worked with so far. As you can see, we have well-known companies like Qatar Airways, like QIC, Milaha, Kahrama. These are worldwide known. We have regional one like GWC, Ishelsat, and we have local one like Baladna, Aspire, QIC, and the ministries. Today, we have a new partner who is AG Plus, and I hope you will be hearing from them about what is AG Plus and what is their need for technology. Here are some statistics. So far, since we started this program in 2022, we published 54 calls. We closed 52 of them, awarded 27 projects, and completed 7 projects so far. This is within, I would say, 2.5 years life of the program. Now I would like to hand over to Alba to talk about AG Plus and the technology needed by the team. Alba, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today with you. I would like to get, if possible, some raise of hands. I cannot see your faces, but maybe you can use the Zoom functionality down below. Who here gets their news on their social media feeds? All right, thank you. And so please also, if you could raise your hand if you are familiar with the AG Plus brand. Do you follow it? For those of you who are not familiar with AG Plus, let me give you a very quick overview. Oh, hold on. Yeah, just a second. Something is off. Let me do that again. Okay. So, sorry about that. Now, AG Plus is a digital news and storytelling platform that is within Al Jazeera Media Network. We share the same vision, the same mission, and a commitment to high quality journalism. The difference is AG Plus publishes on social media only. And we also target more digitally native audience and also younger audience. My presentation is all off.
If you want to do it without that.
Yeah, no, see,
Okay, I think here it's better to do it without the.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that.
If you want to do it without the player, just straight from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just
Okay.
make this.
Sorry, everyone. I was saying we target a digitally native audience and that we have a strong emphasis on social media justice. That would be the differentiators, one of the differentiators with Al Jazeera Media Network. And also, we are a multilingual platform. We have 4 different languages: English, Arabic, French, and Espanol. And combined in all those platforms, we have an audience of over 45 million followers. That is between YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and X. All right, so I wanted to show you what we call internally real-time video. Why? Because that is really most of our daily output. And I would like you to pay extra attention to the text on screen.
The Israeli army stealing, burning houses, shooting without limitation. Basically, they're giving green light to the soldiers to do whatever they want.
So as you can see, we have different types of text on screen. And since the beginning of war in Gaza, the war in Gaza, maybe I think it's like 10 months ago, almost a year now. This has been such an important coverage for us. And of course, I work at AJ Plus Español. Of course, we want to translate a lot of the content of our colleagues at AJ Plus Arabic, and we want to do so the fastest way possible and the most accurate possible. But you see, it's taking us much longer than expected or desired. How long would you think it takes us to translate currently with our current workflows? 1 minute, 30-second video. Well, if you read the open call, you would know that it's at least 4 hours. So let's see what's going on. Why does it take us so long? This is a revealing screenshot I am showing you, where a producer from a language asks another producer to please send the script and then find the assets for the video. Bear in mind, we are a global team, a distributed team in different time zones, and that causes many workflow issues as well as inefficiencies. And we really want to change that. Here's also an example of a video that was reversioned. Let me download the videos first. This is a real example that illustrates a kind of an unfortunate example, if you like, that illustrates a video that was originally published in French. And then we wanted to translate it to Spanish. And when we say that we want to translate, what we say is we reversion it. Why do we say so? Because it's not only literally translating what's on screen, but with the passing of time, as you can see, this second video that I'm showing was published the next day. So of course the story had developed. So we added and customized the video specifically for Espanol audiences. And you can see Arabic, AJ Plus Arabic decided to start the video differently because editorially it made sense for them. So it's not just plainly translating and literally translating what's on there, but also the ability to customize for specific audiences and give, like editorial nuisances to the audience we address. So as you can see, there's this is a timeline, 27th, 28th, and 2nd of March. So it took us much longer than desired to reversion these videos. Our challenge really is to streamline the translation processes in a way that prioritizes speed, yes, but without compromising precision and audience customization, what I just showed. These are the main features we have in mind. Integration with Adobe ecosystem and specifically Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the video editing we use most, the software we use most. AI-driven transcription in sync with audio, translation, and SRT creation. Workflow automation with AP Playbook and Slack, both platforms that capability to automatically enforce editorial style guide and training our model. So this is not just like translation, but much more. And lastly, scalability and customization to be able to improve. What are we aiming with that? So we want to increase the output, the speed and agility, use less resources, and offer a more diverse content catalog for our audience. In essence, more time for higher value work for our reporters and producers. This is what we really aim to. We've tested out some of these features, and we have a proof of concept that we think this is possible. But of course, we want to explore further. Here's what we have in mind for our workflow. First, you would have a reversion producer who is essentially a journalist who locates the original story in the server, then opens this project file in Premiere locally, and here comes the magic. Presses this magic button that automatically duplicates the file, creates a new project for the new language, and translates the text on screen, but also the subtitles and in their respective timelines layers. So this new project file is created. Now, we've automated this part, but here in step 5 is when the human in the loop, or what we call the reversion producer, checks all the translations, the text placements, edits and corrects and gets approvals, customizes the story. This is our human element that we really want to keep, and it's really important to us. And last step would be to export reversion. And just want to note that we export the videos we create different exports depending on the platform-specific exports. And I've drawn this timeline, and I want you to focus on the yellow part, because our goal is to bring down the timing to less than an hour to translate a 1 minute, 30-second video. But if you look at the drawing, you'll see that the first 15 minutes are for this like automated process, but the last 45 minutes are dedicated for the human in the loop. Why? Because edits and corrections, finals, approvals, this is like non-negotiable for us. And we want to give space to the human element, which is what really sets us apart from other media outlets in the market. And I just want to stress this out again. In journalism, credibility and trust are extremely important. And translations can be very nuanced. And getting things right is key in our business, because our credibility and trust are at stake. So there's not much room for errors here. And again, the human authentic touch is and always will be the starting and finishing point of our content creation processes. We don't want to be McDonald's of news. We really want to keep being HA+ in spirit, but with the superpower of AI behind us. Finally, in terms of like the technical solutions that can be offered in this sense, we want to stress the ethical and value-driven aspect of it, as well as the data privacy and security concerns. We can go much more into detail about that, but I just wanted to share that this is really important to us. And that's about it. Thank you all for your attention, and I'm giving the floor back to Dr. Atelchak.
Thank you, Alba, for your comprehensive and clear presentation. I'm going back to my presentation in order to show you how to submit a proposal. So for submitting a proposal, you need to access our platform, which is qrdi.org.qa. Then you scroll down until you find the current challenges. Right now we have 2 challenges, the Al Jazeera one that Alba was talking about, and another one from the airport, from Qatar. Then if you click on Al Jazeera one, you will get more information, detailed information about the call itself, what are the financial background, success criteria, everything. And then you click on apply here. Once you click on apply, it takes you to our partner website, which is 9 Sigma. There you will find the same information, You can click on respond if you want to apply or to submit your proposal. You click on the respond button. It will take you to a page where you need to register if you don't have an account with 9 Sigma, or you just use your account if you already registered with 9 Sigma. Then it will take you to the different, fields to be filled for your application. Please make sure to put as many information as possible, include them in the different fields, tick all the buttons. Here are some suggestions from our side or advice. Fill in the fields and tick all the relevant boxes. If you are not done with the application, you can save it and then come back to it. So you don't have to, to stay, I would say 1 hour or 2 hours to finish your application, but you can do it step by step. And at the end, do not forget to click the submit button. Otherwise, your proposal will not come to us and stay in the draft version. Please note that the deadline to submit your proposals is October 30th. That's it for submission of the proposal. Now we come to the Q&A session, and I will start hopefully I will start receiving your questions. So the first question is, how much in domain broadcasting data with translation is available? This is to Al Jazeera team. Alba?
Could you repeat the question, please?
How much in-domain broadcasting data with translations is available?
It's too broad.
Yeah, well, I think what the question is asking is, would you build your own model around this? And what we would expect would you probably use one of the off-the-shelf models, and then we could add some additional training to it. And so there's obviously all the Al Jazeera content from AJ Plus we could use. But generally we would expect that you'd probably be taking some of the models. We're also in close partnerships with Google and Microsoft and some of the other big large language model providers, and are working with them for improving of the overall models. But depending on what you bring, we could work with you to kind of figure out what would be available, and we could make available the content there. Kamal might have a more broader in terms of like total numbers of things, but it would be kind of the corpus. So if you go up to YouTube, YouTube's a great place. Go up to the AJ Plus channels, both Espanol, Frances, kind of Arabic and English, and all that content technically would be available. Obviously there'd be kind of deals to be done in terms of using that to build models, but hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you, David, for your answer.
And
Second
I want to
question.
add, can
Please,
I add to that,
come on.
that we're only talking about AJ Plus digital team, so there's no access to any of the flagship channel or the flagship channels, the broadcast. This is all just AJ Plus titles, description, and all of the metadata, nothing for the broadcast.
Thank you, Kamal. Next question. What is the average video?
One thing I'd add to that would be, depending on how you kind of build the models, our expectations, you'd probably be hosted within our platform, and that would potentially open up the ability for us to use additional content. You really get back to what you're proposing as to what's needed, and then also kind of what are the security constraints that we would put on the content, because there's obviously licensing rights and everything else associated with it. And so it'd be working with you to figure out kind of what we can and can't do with some of the content.
All right. Thanks again, David. Next question. What is the average video word count?
That's the page.
Less than a page,
Yeah.
I would say. It's less than a page. We never count this way, but I can find that out in just a minute, and I can respond in a couple of
less than a
minutes.
page, 100%.
All right.
Less than a page.
A4 page.
So a little bit long.
Yeah.
But we'll come up with a word count, kind of get back to you, but the reality is this is short form content.
Yeah.
Typically, you know, about what, 2.5 to 3
I would
minutes.
say from 4 to 6 paragraphs, very short. Because you know when you do video for social media, you always aim for brevity. You don't want to charge the image too much, so we always aim to use as less words as possible to be really concise, and also image complements the text. So I would say 4 short paragraphs to 6 paragraphs, but I'll find out the word count for you.
And one thing you might want to call it, as some of the things we've talked about, is generally we kind of break the video into sections. And so there's kind of a bumper section at the beginning that is customized. And that's the one that would be kind of more AI driven, along with a human, obviously, for all this. And then there's the latter half of the video that's really the kind of the meat of the content. And that's going to be pretty much a direct translation, probably not too much customization. And so you kind of think of probably, I don't know how many seconds up front versus, kind of
3 to 7 seconds, 7 seconds maximum.
Yeah. So just think about when you're looking at the project, it's break it into pieces. And so we'd have the original video that was shot. It would be then kind of needed to be broken down into those sections, probably by AI. And then from there, you would essentially do an assembly piece along with leveraging, some level of technology for creating kind of the spoken word and then the actual kind of words that were on the screen as well. And we have technology
thank you.
that you can from like Microsoft and from Google as well, like cognitive services that can actually extract video and extract kind of the transcript language as well.
Spot on.
Okay, thank you. Next question is the expectation that all the translation process and human check-in will occur within Adobe Premiere, or will producer be interacting other platforms into the production process?
I think, as host said, we want to be, and Alba said, we want to be in as much as possible in one ecosystem. For us, the production is in Adobe ecosystem, Premiere. However, as host said, there will be a lot of parties we're working with, Microsoft and Adobe here, and Google. So we will always find ways to put all together in one portal. So there could be, it depends, as host said, to you, it depends on your proposal. It could be a portal where we work in a website and then we push on it to click send to Premiere and it goes to Premiere. That's one proposal. Or everything is in a panel in Premiere where you work like MAM, like that, and like Frame.io. They literally do everything in that panel and then just click send to timeline because it goes to timeline. That's also a proposal. Or you can go from it all depends. We're super flexible, basically. So if this is an answer to this, we're flexible.
I'll probably push back a little bit on that, saying we're looking for elegant simplicity.
I like that.
And seamlessness, and security, right? Those are the 3 kind of key
100%.
components here.
Yeah.
And what that means, what we really want for the end user, right, for the person doing the work, is that it all just kind of works magically, right?
Like
so Momin's very, very flexible with us internally, but for the purposes of this project, we're really wanting something that really just kind of fits, that it all kind of works like behind the scene. Now we have lots of other systems that you'll integrate with, but that's for the purposes of this project, we're wanting it all kind of in one spot.
100%.
That's the strong desire. Now, for whatever reason you can't do that, come back and give us what you're looking for and what your proposal is. But that's obviously that will kind of score much higher when we're scoring these things.
Take this as answer from host.
Thank you.
No, you guys are again, the key here is it's technology is only, it's to make the people who are building the content as it's just supposed to magically work. It's supposed to be like magic.
100%.
All right, thank you. Next question, what would be the user experience in simple terms? What would be the input to the system before even getting into the post-editing editorial phase?
Journalist. So journalist is your client, right? Am I wrong?
Well, I think what you're looking for is essentially, although you see this thing's doing amazingly well, or just once you produced it that you want it to be done in these other languages.
Exactly.
And so pretty much you want to be able to press a button and essentially alert the other teams that this is coming through, and then it'll go through probably our planning system. And then, then when other people get this, there'll be a package that magically shows up on somebody's desk through this plugin that works. And we'll have already kind of taken the steps. And then it's a matter of them validating that the things that took place work. And so I think that's the at least the vision of it. That's fun.
All right, thank you for this clarification. Next question. How do you plan to measure the translation quality?
Human.
Well, I think
That's a very qualitative measurement.
Well, but I think you really get back to how much does the journalist have to change things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If the journalist isn't changing anything, you've hit it spot on. If the journalist has to go in and change a lot of things, let's say it misses, where most AI models fail today are the most important things for news, which are locations and actual names.
Yeah.
And so the key there is that if they're not coming in and they're not fixing those things, you probably have done a pretty good job. And then there's more nuance, which we would expect that we could work with you for the appropriate prompting for getting kind of an output. But I think fail, the more they don't have to do things, we've succeeded. And so it'd be more a matter of just looking at like, what's that interaction? And obviously to begin with, it'd probably be a little bit more, but over time, we hope that it continues to learn and become better. And if you look at our proposal, we proposed working with our backend solution, which is called Cortex. And so the reason Cortex is important is because these models are changing really day to day. And what you want to be able to do is write once to that middle tier, and then we'll be able to change the model dynamically in the back end so that if something's way better, we'll be able to kind of take advantage of that. So that's why that's part of this proposal.
Mm-hmm. And may I add,
Right.
so you said it very well. The less we change things, the better indicator. Now, when change is correcting the translation, that is a bad indicator. But then we want the journalists to be able to add and elevate the journalism. That would be ideal for us. So there's this difference between correcting the AI translation and adding quality to it. So, which is ultimately what we are aiming for.
And also, can I mention what Hos said about the languages, also the dialogue. So for example, if Arabic, so we said 4 languages, right? Just everybody, okay, English, Spanish, French, and Arabic. The Arabic has dialogues. This is where quality control, if what Hos said, if it doesn't do it, this actually falls on the Arabic dialogues a lot, because a lot of it is just understanding the dialogue, and the AI right now doesn't understand much. The North African, for example, from the Egyptian, from the Sudanese, from the Yemeni. So we want to take that into consideration.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with working with Arabic, Arabic is a very challenging language. The dialects are really kind of critical. So if it's a Moroccan dialect, it's really a combination of Arabic, Spanish, and French. And so when you hear it, generally, most people they don't even necessarily know it's even Arabic. And we have to kind of deal with these various regions, and that makes it a little bit more challenging. Now, you'll have some insights, because generally you'll hear those if we're doing a story about Tunisia. It'll be Tunisian, but that's where we'll work with you as well. Because what we want, we're also working with other partners on hopefully building better models that you'll be able to integrate with as well.
All right, thank you. Next question, do you have the expected volume of minutes for translation monthly?
No, we don't have that at the moment.
No,
we can put that information together for you later.
Kamal might know in terms of Kamal. Do you know how much like the video content pipeline?
I think on average, we if I look at Espanol, that's like what, about 40 videos that you publish in a week, which probably like half of if not more is what you're reversioning. So let's say 25 times average 1.5 minutes.
See, here's the tricky part, because duration varies a lot, because some of these videos are long form. And so, they can go from 5 to 10 minutes.
But we're gonna average, right? It's kind of the key. So you average, so maybe it's as opposed to 1.5, it's maybe 3. That's why I was giving the higher number before.
Okay.
Is that, and then from that, it's not all of it's spoken. Like sometimes you have just the voiceover, or there's text that's on the screen. mean, so that's why I'm saying it's like just trying to rough estimate. I
Okay.
mean, you know, and the reality is like you'll be integrated into our systems, and our systems, you know, like again, is the expectation is that you're in our cloud environment. So there's not very much cost on that side. Really, the higher cost is going to be in terms of the development work and everything else. You'll be able to take advantage of, you know, OpenAI kind of
That's
the
a bonus.
Anthropic
That's a bonus.
and obviously just being in our environments. So.
And I think this is also a very difficult question because if the proposal is solid and successful, the expected volume is going to be more than what we can estimate today.
But we have environments where we can even run, you know, kind of some of the NVIDIA, you know, kind of processing as well. So it's like that's actually an option too if there was a custom model. Generally, like I said, we prefer to use kind of ones that are more tried and true. But obviously, we're you know, this is an open proposal. So if you come in with something, we'll talk with you.
All right, thank you. Next question, will the translations be only for the subtitles and captions on the video, or will there be a need for dubbing audio into
Yeah. We gotta
into
grow.
other languages? Sorry.
Yeah, growing. Dubbing is becoming part of the culture. If you see YouTube latest update, it says dubbing AI. So that means the mouth will move with that's YouTube. That's gonna be a culture. So we want to be part of that culture, and that means we want to be able to ethically, with all the, you know, ticking boxes. This can, all 4 years ago, this is deep fake, but we don't want to. This is gonna becomes much more culture, and I believe it's going to be accepted, and we believe we want to be part of that transition, but with a lot of, as everybody says, a lot of ethics in
yeah, the key is transparency and ensuring that the end users know that this was actually, you know, AI generated. Even if we have humans over the top of it, we still want to be very, very clear from a news organization perspective that this was, you know, kind of done leveraging technology.
Yeah, a disclaimer, like what YouTube does.
But,
We really checked for this answer to check YouTube now.
All right, thank you. Next question, can you elaborate on the integration requirement with the Archipelago and Cortex frameworks? What specific functionalities need to be supported?
Well, I think it's pretty clear if you go up to Archipelago and Cortex. Cortex is kind of a middle tier. The middle tier then ties back to large language models. And so the reality is that you'll write the plugin once to the Cortex service. You'll deploy that potentially in our environment, or you'll take advantage of a deployment we already have of it. And then that will then point to whatever models we want to use for this project. So if you go up to GitHub, you know, I think we put it in the proposal, and you can take a look and see. And if you have like more technical questions, we're happy to go deeper, but probably for this call, I think that gives you a high level of what we're looking for.
Okay, next question.
It'll make your life way easier in the long term too, because then you can take advantage, because this, again, this world is moving so quickly that these models become stale very quickly, and you can literally change in, you know, a minute or less and update the models. And we'll continue building on Cortex, and so Cortex will become even smarter over time. I forget when the last time we released something, but if you're working with us as a group, you'll have access to not just what's up on GitHub, but probably our internal tools as well.
Thank you. Next question, it's like a continuation of a former question, and the same question for ASR. How do you plan to measure speech recognition quality?
I think we answered.
Yeah, I think it gets back to it's the amount of churn from the user, and it's what Aldo was saying before. So obviously, if there's problems with the actual like names and locations and things, that's worse, you know. And but again, it could be that's fine, and where you're scoring, you know, kind of like the way we do this today is we score words, and then ultimately, you know, the word or the phrase that's being scored, if it's above a certain level, we feel pretty confident. If it's below a certain level, then you want to prompt that to the end user. So the more you can bring things that need looking at to the end user, the better as well. And so if you feel like if it's not really accurate, making that very transparent so that they can just come in and they go right to the area that's the issue, that's the most important thing as well. But you know, again, it gets back to its timing, and and the number of errors that there are. Some of the other things that we'll find out, I think, as we go along will be, like we're saying, it's like if it's more them customizing things or wanting to customize the prompts to be more in tune with the audience that you're going after, that's probably okay. But what we would love would be if you allow us to create more prompts to where even before it gets to the journalist, it's already done some of that, and then they can do the final tweaks on it. But this is we're learning together in some sense, and so that would be the expectation. But again, less is more in general.
Thank you. Next question: are you also interested to have AI translation into AI digital voices?
Yeah, I think the answer is, the reason I'd say yes is because in some cases we may want to make it really, really clear that it's not the same journalist's voice. There are issues when, again, if all this is talking right now and then all of a sudden we switch her to Arabic, because she's not able to recognize that it's her likeness, we may want to actually have it be a different voice than her voice, because we want it to be really clear that this is not her. Therefore, if there was a mistake somehow that slipped through, that it's not pointing back to the journalist. So I would say the answer is yes.
Yes.
That we want to make sure it's kind of clear. It's not just the lips talk. Again, it's and same thing would go for with the voiceover. We have to be very careful, even when we're doing kind of again this dubbing for, let's say if we're interviewing somebody, we want to be very careful that as much as it's really cool, like what 11 Labs does today, we just have to be very careful that it doesn't come across as it's that person doing it, that it's very clear that this is AI doing it. And we have to be careful about likeness, because I think there's still some open questions from a copyright perspective on that as well. 100%. And so what I would say for the first versions of this, it probably will be in our best interest to actually make it sound even more computer-like in some ways, as opposed to being really smooth and solid. But that's where we'll work with you together to figure out what's right.
Or we make one avatar for AG+, very branded voice.
That's probably more what we'll do in this
branded
case.
voice for AG+. Everybody hears it as AG+.
Yeah,
right there.
Again, it's exact. Sorry, go ahead, Ella.
No, just another use case could be when we really need to be really fast and get it out really fast. So there's no time for voice recording of a human. That's a use case that I can really see when it's useful to have that feature.
With copyright signature and stuff like that, I think.
I think that what Momin was saying was it's like a branded voice that is AJ plus, but it's AJ plus AI. Right. So we'll actually that's our unique,
and it's very acceptable because it's branded.
And it's across all languages, so it'll probably sound the same across all languages.
Branded.
I think that's probably a smart way of doing this.
So yes.
All right, thank you. Next question: can you provide more details on the expected timeline?
Where is that question?
Yesterday.
That's why we
I lost the question. Can you please repeat it again? Can we assume that the human in the loop is employed by AG plus, i.e. you are not expecting to outsource the human in the loop to a third party?
Or contracted, so it'd be either employed or contracted.
All right. Next question: do you expect multiple members of your team to work within the same space and on the same project simultaneously?
Absolutely, yes. That's why Host mentioned cloud.
Right, thank you. Next question: a good model that would work for you would be much better if we can get already manually translated data across the languages you are targeting. Follow up on the question about data. I didn't understand.
Yeah, we're not expecting to have manual translations of these things because that takes too long. But what we currently do today is leveraging some of the kind of the models to extract, and then the things that are not right are ones that we bubble up, and so we would expect to be the same thing.
All right. Next question: can we have more info on the technical requirement length of videos expected? I think this was already answered. What is the required MVP for proposal? Would it require a fully lengthy video just for proof of concept?
That needs to dive in.
Yeah, we'll essentially create a set of content that you can look at as well. that you can probably get. So we'll follow up afterwards, but we'll give you some data, and then we might even come up with some files that are kind of samples that we could get before if people really want to. I mean, again, I need to talk with the team here, and so we'll circle around on that. But we definitely give you numbers.
All right, thank you. Next question, are you able to share one or two previous example Adobe Premiere projects files that we can use to test
So we can,
our
if
own
as-
proof of concept internally?
So we can, as Hostad, this needs to internally stakeholders approve, because this is giving us giving some of our
assets, yeah.
assets. So we need to approve this internally first. So it's possible, but we're gonna have to get a few things approved first.
Yeah.
All right,
You
thank
can definitely can see the end product if you go up to YouTube.
100%.
Yeah, I mean that's your easiest path is go there and you'll see the end result. And then the internal ones might be a little bit more, but we'll try to figure that out.
Yeah.
If we do something with you, it might require an NDA or
Yeah.
something just to
Yeah,
make sure that we're
100%.
covered. But we'll circle around on that one.
All right, thank you. Next question, can third-party AI tools such as GPT be used?
Yes, and encouraged.
With love.
Thank you. Next question, what is the deliverables of the pilot phase? I think this was
He
Alba
answered
has
that
said.
yesterday.
Well, they're asking what are the deliverables. Our expected deliverable is the integration with Adobe Premiere as a plugin. And again, if there are other things that are needed, that's where when you're submitting, you can
100%.
make your submission known. We do use some planning tools and things, but there are API interfaces to those items that might be useful for you as well.
100%.
So
So thank you. Next question. So if I understand correctly, we need to form a 4 to 6 paragraph transcription of any video and translate it to any language for the proposal, any one language or more.
So I would say it's not any language, it's 4 languages. So it's English, French, Arabic, and Spanish. And so these languages could go either way, in any direction.
yeah, they cross. Essentially,
cross.
one video is in Arabic. We want to then translate it send it into the other 3 languages. Same thing if it was English, it could be the same. It could be then translated into Arabic, into Espanol, and into France.
So it's 4 languages, not more.
Yeah. Well, long term it might be more because we might want to expand our audience. Short term, it's really within the corpus of the 4 channels.
100%.
All right, thank you. Next question, what are the source and target languages? I think this has been answered. Is it sufficient to produce standard subtitles in SRT and supporting the typical reading speeds? Or are there specifications for placing shorter text into the videos?
Yeah, it's a slabby. Basically, we do that already. I mean, it's in sync with audio. That's what we said here. Or whatever the placeholders you want to put on it. So
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. So since it's a web format, we use mostly VTT, and there are 2 options. We do already VTT as a sentence, the old-fashioned way, quote unquote. But AsiaPlus does a lot of word-based VTT as well. So it's not just translating this and slapping on the subtitle. It's also word-based, triggering the in and out, especially for the short form text.
Thank you, Kemal, for this clarification. Next question, what would be the structure of the pilot? Is there a set number of videos that will need to be translated to showcase the capability of the AI software? I think partially you answered this question before.
I mean, my expectation is that we're looking to integrate this into production.
yeah.
We probably start on a smaller kind of pilot, which would be a smaller group, onesie twosies. But if it works well, then the expectation is that it gets pushed across the entire organization.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
But again, Alba and
I wouldn't
I think
know
that's
how else to answer that.
Thank you. Next question, would dubbing of target
supporting
language be considered? I think this has been
Yeah, that
answered
has already
also.
been answered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. So next question, thanks. Do you have an estimation of how many videos would be translated for the pilot? Again, it's
I think it's
Probably
up to
saying.
whatever it's up to. It's-
Yeah, I mean, we, like
concept.
we said, that it would be kind of rolled into production, and so it's what we were saying, you know, the number that Kamal gave earlier with regard on a monthly basis.
So it should reflect a week, an
Yeah.
example of a week in.
Okay, so let's give a number. So typically, a
No.
week, we would reversion, let's say 14 videos, 14 1.5 minute videos.
So 1/4,
Yeah.
So 14
yeah,
per week.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Just,
but
Yeah.
they are asking for the pilot. So
Yep,
is
yep.
it for
So
the pilot?
Yeah,
If he wants to resemble a reality to it, which is basically, this is the output of every week for that reversion.
yeah, I don't
Alright.
think the numbers make any difference, because the reality is that this should be all automated. And so the expectation is that the code gets deployed, we essentially put it in on a couple of users' machines, and it'll probably be less than that, and if it goes well, then we'll extend it.
Spot on.
Right, thank you. Next question, can you expand a little bit on the collaboration features you are looking for in terms of different actors involved in the workflow?
Too hard.
Access involved in the work.
collaboration
API. I
features.
think he meant API.
Yeah, well, I think this ties into, depends on the planning tool and kind of how to notify other users. I don't know, Kamal, do you want to take that, or do you want me to?
So from the collaboration, it could be people are working on the same project, people are editing on the same timeline in different time zones, uploading content, downloading content, ingesting content, typing. It's basically what Adobe offers out of the box with real-time or near real-time collaboration. Frame.io is part of the whole AWS ecosystems as well. But if there are any limitations, I'm not sure if we introduce AI in this, if there will be any limitations based on SDK, based on security, but the more collaboration your solution would allow us to do, the better.
Right, thank you,
Yeah, I
Kamal.
think that's a pretty reasonable answer, yeah.
Yes, you wanted to add to it, Howard?
No, go ahead, I think he answered it pretty well.
Okay,
Thanks, Kamal.
I'm aware about the time. We have 1 hour here. So if you are willing to continue, we still have about 20 questions. Whenever you want to stop, we could stop, and then but we need to answer the question by email to the attendees. Next question. Do we have to prepare a methodology presentation for the proposal?
I would say yes.
Yeah, it's logic.
We'd like to have an understanding in terms of what you're proposing, in terms of implementing, how you'd implement it, and kind of what are the different pieces that you would use.
So it's
Okay.
yes.
Next question is a bit, I would say, provocative. It said that the program is to build a POC, but it seems that AG Plus wants a final product. Can you please clarify?
Well, it's a proof of concept, but again, the expectation is that it would move fairly quickly, but you know,
Yeah.
All right,
So,
thank you.
maybe
Next,
I would ask back in terms of when you're submitting the proposal, submit what you feel that means. And again, we'll be comparing it to other people. So the closer it is to something that's like production ready, obviously the better. We
100%.
recognize it's a proof of concept, and so we expect there will be bugs, but that's where having a close partnership with us and be able to move quickly and with agility will be really important. But if you've got specific concerns that you're worried about, let us know.
all
And our
right, thank
expectation
you.
is with the editorial team and some of my team as well.
Next question, would automated quality analysis for both ASR and MT and confidence scoring of the ASR and MT help to accelerate the process?
It's way above my grade.
I mean, again, we look for the companies to come and give us kind of their ideas, but in general, I mean, Kamal, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, if you can have a solution that does the automatic speech recognition or the machine translation and can score it in as near time as possible, or while it's being translated, that I think that would be perfect. If that's great, that will also help the editorial, the human in the mix, to build the confidence. So the answer would be yes. It will definitely have helped to accelerate the process if ASR or MT could be flagged with the correct confidence score. I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
I also.
Yeah.
I also want to bundle this with the two next questions regarding the Arabic dialects. Yes, we have pretty much, and Momi can also confirm this, pretty much every dialect out there as well, and that's the difficult part of this whole project is we're not limiting ourselves to modern standard Arabic. It's the Moroccan, it's African, it's all of the wide realm of Arabic that needs to be translated. So the confidence, getting the confidence score of those dialects is going to be challenging.
Right, thank you. Next question. You mentioned that you want the journalist to be able to add and elevate the dialogue. Would contextual suggestion with the relevant supporting information in near real time be helpful?
That's a super.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have those things built in today in terms of kind of this is the Labib, and so Labib can actually look at again for the group that's on the phone, but yeah.
That's always
we already have similar for when journalists use our internal tool to write stories in real time. There's already suggesting contextual suggestions happening. So this will definitely elevate the solution as well.
All right, thank you. Next question. While the current focus seems to be on subtitling, does AG Plus have any plans or interests in incorporating AI-powered dubbing capabilities in the future? I think this is
it was already answered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
If so, how should proposed solutions account for potential expansion?
Dubbing.
So subtitle is part of the features, but not the
focus.
Yeah, I suggest you take a look at watch some of the videos from AJ Plus. That'll give you a much better idea. And then imagine we want to ship that same video in a different language. And so Alba gave you kind of some examples with the one where it's like that same video was essentially reproduced in the all four languages, and you can take a look at that, and that'll give you really good insights what we're looking for, because it's pretty much a replication of that.
Mm-hmm. Instagram is a good platform to look at those videos.
And let's not forget there are also a lot of videos where there's no human in the video that shows a lip at all. It's just all in sound.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is the required tool to do audio to text to translation or text to text?
Both.
I think
All of them. Yeah, both.
Maybe I missed. I don't see the question, so I'm like,
It's both.
okay.
It requires to do.
All right, thank you. But next question, but you would need a benchmark to test quality. AG Plus would need to provide such a benchmark or help with building it. Can you elaborate?
That we can refer to, but I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I think it gets back to what we were talking about with regard to the translation and, kind of how accurate is it? So.
And editorially, there's a style guide.
Yeah. Yeah, the style guide's a little bit of different, I think, from what they're asking here, which is they want like some metric to kind of say, is it accurate or not? And, accuracy is again, it gets back to, it really is in the, we could follow up on this question. I mean,
we can follow up,
yeah, but,
we'll come up with a benchmark to test.
Okay,
quality.
so next question is about dialects, and we already, I think, addressed it, that we have different dialects. already working in someone is saying that we, a company, are part of a EU consortium already working in similar solutions with Catalan TV, Slovenia, Sky Italia, whatever. Can we use the basis of the proposal as a reference? And other broadcaster are observers.
We're gonna see what is it, right? We'd love to see what is that manual. We would love to see it. That's it. We would love to.
Yeah, you can use it. I mean, again, it gets back to are there commercial issues associated with that? You know, if it maps to what we had asked for in the proposal, then it should be fine. We're big proponents of open source.
Yeah.
And so if it's an open source, I mean, we'd have to take a look and see, but definitely that's and we're happy to be part of you know, other initiatives that are going on as well.
Next question, can
I also say something more about that one? That would also be more a question for EBU, because I know that EBU contracts limits whatever code, whatever solution you do for EBU to only be used for TV stations that are also part of EBU, and I don't think Al Jazeera is part of EBU.
Well, that's what I was saying. We'd have to understand, does it map to the because I believe we put kind of the commercial desire within the contract, and if we, or within the proposal, it would have to be usable by us, obviously. And if it's not usable by us because it's through a consortium that we're not a part of, then the answer would be no. But like I said, I just don't know. So good point, Kamal.
Thanks. Can we use it in translation? I think the second question has already answered.
Which one?
Can we use
existing translations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because you use, I mean, today we do transcriptions for other videos, and yeah, of course. In fact, that's probably how we would actually work with you to measure quality, is on existing ones, not new ones. We would essentially run it through and see how good is it.
All right. Next question: do you expect text anticipation, text built-in tool of the correct word in the term was, if the term was not clearly spelled?
This is like I think this is like if you're typing it to fix the error. I mean, again, obviously, the more it's got that, the better, because we don't want to have to, like, again, spell, you know, typical spell check and things. We integrate things like that today.
So this can fall under the terminology. So, for example, in Arabic and Spanish and English, we don't say, for example, something like that. We say it like that, but it's the same meaning. So this can fall into terminologies, for example.
Well, you're talking more style, I think, is what that is. Yeah. This is a little bit different from, I think, built-in. This is more like the specific word. Yeah, where you're typing in where it finishes it for you is what he's talking about, I believe, or what they're talking about. So,
but not particularly. I wouldn't say this would be like a core expectation.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, when you guys are using your tools today, I mean, they auto correct, right? And so that's what you want. So I would say
Gmail does that now. You just have to press enter. It's just finished.
Yeah, or tab. Yeah. So for sure. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Next question is there an option for AG Plus to use their own LLM API keys, or do you need this from the technology provider side?
Or if you want to integrate with any of, or most of the major ones that are out there, we have integrations with them. It just depends. So, but when you put your proposal forward, put it forward with that, because that'll obviously change the pricing for you. But as much as we can, we're happy if it's supported by Microsoft, like with OpenAI, or via Google with you know, some of the other kind of large language models that they support directly. We'll pick up the tab on that.
Thank you.
And use our keys, just to be clear.
Thank you. Next question regarding the style of the subtitles and on-screen text. Can you confirm that it will be handled by Adobe Premiere?
Yes, so this comes in branding. So this is why we didn't want to add it to the actual presentation. Style, look, feel, all this will fall into the branding side. That will be the front of the end user, what they will see, but we want whatever we are building here is behind that. So yeah, it will eventually feel and look the way it is now. And sometimes in the near future, when we want to rebrand, this is why we mentioned upscale and improvement. When we will rebrand, whatever brand we are doing in Premiere can easily integrate into this system. So yes, that's why we didn't mention branding in this stage here, where the colors and all that stuff, because we believe that will be just features in Premiere. API we can easily integrate into. So
Right.
so yes,
Thank you.
it's easy.
Next question: what is the format of the original source of true translation? The transcripts or audio? I think we answered this question.
It's the format of the original source.
I think
This
that's
would be
the Premiere
Okay.
timeline.
It's one of four, you know, so it's and again, there is a script, but the script, so I don't know, the script's
don't
always,
know.
that's not always
No.
kept. It really gets back to whatever is it, the video itself is the source of truth.
Yeah.
The project file.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Adobe
it's the Premiere timeline.
source.
Yep.
It's a Premiere timeline with the video, with the audio, with the transcription, with the text within the original language. So if the A team creates the original video in English, Alba's Spanish-speaking term downloads the project from the cloud, opens that project, and that's where this magic translate button looks at all of the separate tracks in the timeline. So the source of truth is video, it's audio, it's text, but it all lives in the Adobe Premiere timeline.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Next question. I also note that there was a telex messaging service mentioned as a third-party integration. Can you share more information on that?
Yeah, I can take that one. We have an internal notification engine called Telex. Technically, it's an AWS Lambda, which at some point will have to migrate to or a Microsoft function or something similar on GCP. But it's a very no-code option to easily integrate with all of our notifications for the editorial team using text, SMS, email, SMS, Slack, or Microsoft Teams. So you don't have to integrate with all of those APIs separately. You just do a call to the Lambda, and then based on how the user set up his profile in another tool, they will receive a notification.
Yep.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kamal. Next question: using an API that utilizing YouTube newly introduced dubbing feature is in background, is it allowed?
We want to work with YouTube. YouTube is part of Google, so they are already our partners, and we work with them like religiously. However, if this is an API from their side, we would love to discover it. Maybe it's just
Maybe it works better. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I think we would encourage this. We already use YouTube API for their transcription. So if this is available, yes, of course.
lovely. Yeah, 100%.
Just
Thank
again, it
you.
gets back to quality.
100%.
We want the best
Yep.
quality.
The transparency, quality, security.
Thank you. Next question: who owns the rights to the technology once completed?
This is host.
It's shared ownership.
This will be negotiated during the.
I believe that's what we put in there, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, review it. But
I think we put that in the thingy with legal and
Yeah.
I think we already
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Thank you. So next question: what is the main focus of the pilot, the integration or the quality of the translation? So if it says if we have to provide high quality of translation, then we have to train a special model, and this will be costly and time consuming.
I would say that for now, the main focus is integration, and we are expecting the model to learn from our recurring translations.
and be flexible as the models in the background continue to increase. That's why I was saying before. It's like if you've got something that's amazing and will blow us out of the water, we'll look at it. But I've encouraged you to essentially look at the existing models that are out there, leverage Cortex, because Cortex allows us to change the model, because these models are changing very rapidly. And if you do that properly, then it will actually simultaneously the integration will get better because the models will change and improve over time.
Thank you. Next question for dialect coverage. Are you wishing to translate into those dialects, Egyptian Arabic, MSA, Moroccan, Colombian Spanish, US Spanish, French, Canadian?
Arabic, it's religiously Arabic. It's called White Arabic. White Arabic is Arabic who everybody can understand.
Traditional or standard?
Yeah, yeah.
It's what.
It's less. It's
So
traditional.
you guys
but-
are actually a
but-
little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for H plus Arabic,
Yeah.
it's traditional, but
Yeah, good point. Sorry.
yeah, it's a good one.
I'm
Yeah.
a very kind of corporate person, so yeah, got the young kids in the room here, which is good. So, but yeah.
He's young and a half.
For Spanish, it's standard Spanish. We don't do like specific like Mexican Spanish or Colombia Spanish. It's standard Spanish.
And for French? You include the Canadian French?
The very last
Same.
question, yes, modern standard Arabic
Yeah.
with a little bit of flexibility.
Especially with the translations to the other languages, that's the one thing I would say.
Yes.
Is that it'll just go into what are the most standard version of
100%,
things
Yeah.
versus trying to kind of like, you know,
100%.
be tricky with it.
100%. Yay, last question.
Thank you. Last question. Can we demonstrate current capabilities to satisfy most of the requirements? What does it mean?
Do.
It's up to the pilot, up to the.
Well, if it meets the conditions of this endeavor, then yeah, if not, yeah, possibly.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we reached the end of the webinar. I would like to thank Alba, Momin, David, and Kamal for their answering all the questions and for explaining the opportunity. I would like to thank everyone who attended the webinar, and I look forward to receiving your proposals and hopefully working with you in the near future. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.